All right, all right. So anyways, I think I've got everything together now, guys. I hope you enjoyed our testimony video that we had going on. Today is Saturday, July 20th, 2024. And my name is David T. Rosen, founder of Co-op Everything and CoopB and all the other wonderful parts of the co-op ecosystem. And I can tell you, I'm pleased to be here. Since we had our last Q&A last month, I've been looking forward to this one. Several people have sent me questions. If you do have questions, put them in the Q&A and we will get to them, and hopefully get to them all, because this presentation is an hour and a half. And I do have a lot of questions that people have already asked me. And as you see, we have Foster, a special guest, with us here. Foster is a master business entrepreneur. So he'll be assisting with some of the questions, maybe even asking some of the questions, and give some insight, because Foster has some great insight into this particular industry, the home-based industry. And he's been helping people for a long decades, actually. So we'll get to that. Now, I'm going to start today's webinar the way I like to start all webinars, by sharing my daily dose of good. It was on there for a moment, and then I put the testimonies on, so most of you didn't get a chance to see that. But today's daily dose of good is a really important one. And the importance to this particular quote that I'm going to talk to you about today is, you know, the system that I've created right now will allow you to live your life the way you choose. I've created some great systems in the past. It's done well over $1 billion. The systems that I've created in the past, it's helped well over 1 million people around the world. But this system is different. CoopB is different, because CoopB allows you to create a predictable ongoing passive income. So if you're ready to start living your life, we're ready to help you. So this quote here, this is a quote I wrote several years ago. And it says, remember, in life, you don't get a do-over. So if you wait for life to pass you by, it will. It's a very true statement. You know, as you get older in life, you think about things like this. And I have a lot of friends who haven't done all that they've wanted to do. And for some of them, they're actually too old to do some of the things that they wanted to do. And they have regrets. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. Only worked for somebody else one time. I was brought up by my parents to believe that anything is possible. I could do anything and never accept no for an answer. So I've done a lot of things. I'm not the richest person in the world by far. But I do believe in this statement. Remember, in life, you don't get a do-over. So if you wait for it to pass you by, it will. On some earlier testimonies, you heard me talk about the fact that I bought a Rolls Royce. I did. When I was taking my Bentley in to get fixed, I saw a Rolls Royce, so I got it too. I had 14 cars at one time. I stayed at the presidential suite in the Atlantis Reef, $25,000 a night. I have a friend who's in Punta Cana right now. I stayed at the Rockstar Villa, had the Rockstar Suite. It was the whole floor. I'm telling you these things not because I'm bragging. I'm telling you these things is because I believe in that statement. You don't get a do-over. We know lots of billionaires. You know, Warren Buffett, you know, one of the richest men in the world, still driving the same truck, living in the same house. All these years, has all the money in the world to be able to do everything that he wants to do. And obviously he's doing the things that he wants to do, but there's so much more to life to experience. So we want to experience it. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But folks, listen, CoopB was built specifically for you. It was built to give you the opportunity to live your life the way you choose. So whatever your dreams are, get busy with CoopB, complete the 3 steps, because CoopB works for 100% of the people, 100% of the time, who complete the 3 simple doable steps. So complete the 3 steps, teach duplication, have your teammates complete the 3 steps, and whatever it is you want in life, whether you want to live a frugal life like Warren Buffett, or whether you want to live an extreme life like myself, for example, and do crazy things, because we know that we don't get to do a do-over. You'll have the money to be able to do the things that you wish. I'm going to bring on Foster right now so that he can say a few words, because Foster and I have been having some great conversations over the course of the last few weeks since Foster joined us. And I've been watching a metamorphosis going on with Foster. The same type of metamorphosis that I see going on with a lot of people that join CoopB. You go from, hoping that it'll work, wondering if it'll work, to, well, it looks pretty good, to that works. Oh yeah, and that works. Oh, and listen, I tried that and that works, and my friend tried that and that works, to getting to the point to understanding that this system is the real deal, and that the things that we've been saying all this time are in fact. And Foster is, I think his eyes are opening up a little differently than they were when he first got started, and I'm so happy to have him part of the team. So Foster, why don't you say a few words, or as many words as you choose. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what's up, man? And right now, I think you're on mute.
I am. Am I coming through okay, David?
Yeah, you're coming through now. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, just for your benefit, my eyes was open from day one. I wouldn't have taken a trip to your house if my eyes were closed. I wouldn't have made it there. So I wanted to let the audience know that my eyes have been open from day one. And just wanted to say a few words to encourage those who are evaluating this business. You may have questions. I have questions. I don't want you to get the idea that just because I'm on a panel, I don't have questions. But the questions have to be healthy for you to benefit from it. I tell people, be careful when you start searching for information. If you already had a negative, let's say, outcome before you even put something in a search engine, guess what you're gonna get? So be here with the thinking that is gonna really work in your favor, but not against you. So let me talk about thinking big for a moment, because yesterday, David and I, we had a call with a gentleman, and the man says certain things that confirm some stuff that I believed in. So almost 35 years ago, I read a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. Very powerful book by David Schwartz. And it changed the way that I view life and business. The Magic of Thinking Big. So yesterday, this gentleman that we met, I'd rather not mention names, but because people do different things, and until he's fully here, I don't want to, but I want to give him the credit because he affirmed what I've always believed. He talked about think big, think big. And I've been thinking big from the time that the light came on for me. I got introduced to the free enterprise, the home-based business, 35 years ago, precisely May of 1989. And I've been in Canada for a few years prior to that. And I never saw a concept that allows an average person to start a business small that can become something huge. And the light came on, it's never been off since. And the last 25 years for me set me free because I was able to fire my boss and hire myself. And for 25 years, I haven't worked for anybody. So if you are here, let me encourage you to think big. The program that you have seen also gives you the opportunity to start small. I like that. Because you don't need to mortgage your house, you don't need to mortgage your car, you don't need to even borrow a lot of money to get started. I like that. You can start small. But here's where I want to caution you. Just because you are starting small does not mean you should stop there. This is an opportunity for you to grow deeper, because those 3 doable steps are just the foundational steps for greater things to come. And I've seen this many, many times. I would say this: the home-based business is alive and well for those who can recognize it. Because sometimes people say being at the right place at the right time is all you need. Well, being at the right place at the right time is good, but you must be able to recognize the opportunity. Let me close my opening comments with this. When I first saw this, obviously, I heard some of the audacious claims that David made. Ending global poverty by the end of this decade. Who would not be suspicious of such a person? And I was happy to know that he was a fellow Torontonian. I said, man, if this man lives in Toronto, then I need to meet him. How do you end global poverty by the end of this decade? And I wanted to know how long he's been working on this project. So I'm sure you have questions. So I'm prepping you for some of these questions. And these are healthy questions, and feel free to ask David questions. But I want to share with you that during my 35 years, I've only worked with 3 companies. I don't move around easily. 10 years with one company, 24 years with another company, and 1 year with another company. And every company that I've joined, I've met the owners. I wanted to, look at them straight in the eyes to make sure that they are real. Not perfect, but real. And I met David, and I can tell you, he's not perfect, but he's real. He's not perfect at all, just like me. I'm not perfect, but I'm real. Sometimes I may be funny, but I tell people I'm not phony. I'm real. What you see is what you get. So this is going to be an exciting time. I don't want to monopolize the time right now. I'm going to turn it back to David, and I'll get a chance to speak later on as we go. Back to you, David.
Great. Thank you very much, Foster. And, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to get a chance to hear more from Foster, as you can see, and as you could hear from the few minutes that he did speak, which was very eloquent and with passion and with understanding. That's why he's so successful in the other businesses that he's done, and why he will be so successful in CoopB. You will be hearing more from him in the coming days, the coming weeks, the coming months. You'll be hearing a lot more from Foster. We are developing a really good and close relationship, and he brings something to co-op that I don't have. I don't need to get into all of the things that I don't have. Creating systems, there's no one better on the planet at creating systems that are more rewarding. But I can tell you that Foster is eons ahead of me as far as being able to train the people on how to understand and get the most out of a business. So we're looking forward to having Foster help in that particular regard and in other areas as well. So thank you for that once again, Foster. And you've heard me say, he said he thinks big. And when you've heard of some of the accomplishments that I've made, that I've had in the past, and when you hear about the fact that we are going to end global poverty at the end of this decade, and that we are going to change the way people earn an income all over the world and have a major impact over the course of the next couple of years, you know that I'm thinking big. And it's really funny. I like to say this. It's funny that most of my friends, whenever I tell them about some of the things that I'm getting ready to do, they say to me, they look at me and they say, David, why do you think so big? And I look back at them and I say, why do you think so small? And it's a fact. And let me just say one more thing to this particular area. If you have 3 friends who have a problem, that's 3 friends within your inner circle that have a problem, then there's probably 300,000 or 3 billion people that have the same problem. So if you're going to look for a solution, why look for a solution for 3 when you can look for a solution for 3 billion? And you see, it's that type of thinking that helps us to get and helps others to find solutions that cure the globe and not just cure their own little circle of friends or their own little neighborhood. So yeah, we think big, we do big, and we're about to get busy with it right now. I see there's a couple of questions in the chat. I do have some other questions that I need to answer as well. But one question that I see in the chat there, and by the way, folks, I'm not going to have a chance to follow everything that's in the chat because I'll be answering a lot of questions. But one of the questions that I see in the chat there by multiple people is age restrictions. Here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you know, I registered. I went down to the government registration office and I registered a business for my granddaughter, who at the time was 4 years old. So here we don't have age restrictions as to who can become a business owner and who can't. However, you should look at the regulations for where you live, because every jurisdiction has different regulations. So look in the jurisdictions of where you live, speak to your accountant, speak to a lawyer, and get that advice from them. I am 99.999% certain you'll be able to get someone into this business regardless of age. However, you might have to set up some type of trust or some type of fiduciary account for them to be able to take care of that person. So with that being said, that's question number one. I've got another question over here, and it's a question that I get often, and it's a question that I'm actually really proud to answer. And it says, does a free person in CoopB have the ability to earn an income? And the answer to that question is yes. And I'm going to explain it in a way so that, you know, people don't get the wrong impression about being a free person and being a paid person, an active member in CoopB. Now, as everybody knows, we have Co-op Build, which is our demo site to give people the opportunity, whether you are an active member or if you're just trying out the system and you're using the demo. The demo system is there for everybody. Me as an active person, I use the demo system to show people how the system works, who may be unfamiliar with this type of industry. And almost everybody is unfamiliar with CoopB because we're brand new. So we don't expect people to understand or know what it is yet. So the demo site is fantastic. And there's also a lot of people that use coopbuild.me, which is a demo site, to see if this type of business, and particularly CoopB, can work for them. And because the demo site, coopbuild.me, is an exact replica of the paid site. And whatever results you get in CoopB, you will get in whatever results you get in Co-op Build, you will get in CoopB. So if you are one of the people that is using the demo site and you're checking it out, you're evaluating it, you're assessing if this is a type of business that you can do, whether or not you can complete the 3 steps, whether or not you have 3 people or more who want to join you in this business, you're using Co-op Build to get started. While you're doing that, some people may pay who you have invited and become active CoopB members. Now, as most of you know, in most businesses, if somebody pays before you, it means that you've lost out, and you've lost out permanently. And that can be a major setback, because that person that registered before you might have been counting on them to help you to build an income in that other business. So here's what happens in Co-op Build and CoopB. If you have a free member who activates before you, several great things happen. And before I tell you about those several great things that happen, I want you to understand this, is that every keystroke, from the first keystroke to the last keystroke that went into the building of Co-op Build and all the systems that I've ever built, they're built with you in mind. So every time I tell my programmers to push that keystroke, I put myself in your shoes. if my programmer pushes this keystroke and I'm sitting on the other side, would it be beneficial to me? So everything that we do in this business is designed to bring you maximum benefit, because I understand by bringing you benefit, you'll use and share the system. And that's what we do. So here's what happens. If I'm a co-op build member and I invite Foster and I invite Mary, and they both decide to register before me, number one, I will receive 25% immediately. So when Foster registers and pays his $28, $25 of that is commissionable and is part of the royalties. I get $6.25. So I'm not even a paid member, but I get $6.25 for registering Foster. And if Mary registers, I make another $6.25 because Mary registered. Now, I'm not in the active cooperative yet. So what happens to Foster and what happens to Mary? Well, they'll go to my upline, right? So they'll go to the person who's above me based on genealogy, right? And they'll end up in their cooperatives. So the next question you might be asking, well, if these people are above, well, then they're not going to be bringing me any benefit. So now what? Well, as I said, folks, we think of you. And I also believe that, if you planted the seed, you should continue to benefit from planting that seed. So once you become an active member by paying the $28 in Co-op B, Foster and Mary will still remain in your upline's cooperative, and you won't receive the matrix commissions because they're above you. And the matrix commissions amount to $142,005 just in matrix commissions. Your matrix is going to fill up. So eventually you're not going to miss out anything because Foster and Mary are above you. Because here's what you do get. When you are qualified with 3 who have 3, and if we just simply look at 3 who have 3, not 3 dozen who have 3 or 500 who have 3, just 3 who have 3, you heard us state that you can receive $972,762. You can with just 3 who have 3 who duplicate, and that process continues. Well, if I invite 3 friends, I get 25%, which is $18.75. I'm going to get that $18.75. If I invite 3 friends who duplicate and my matrix fills up, I'm going to receive another $142,005, which is really good. It's a nice income. That means that over $830,000 is bonuses. When you're qualified, regardless of whether Mary and Foster are in your cooperative, you will receive those bonuses. So at the end of the day, I've made it so ultimately you won't be missing out on anything. And that's the way I love to build these systems. So if this has happened to you, it will be a shock. But understand this, it's not the end of the world. And you will ultimately end up making the exact same amount of money. And the lion's share of your cooperative royalties come in the form of bonuses. You will receive those once you're qualified with 3 who have 3. So I hope that was clear. Foster, was that clear, or did I miss something?
It's clear in my mind, and hopefully is understood by all. Thank you, David.
Great, thank you. And I won't keep asking you when I ask a question, but if there is something, if I'm answering a question and I didn't answer it correctly, please step in and ask me to rephrase it. And if you see a question that I need to answer, please interrupt me, because I'm answering these questions right now, and I'll get to the other ones as soon as I can.
Awesome. David, cool, one thing that I would like you to do for me, because I don't see all the questions. So if and when you run out of questions, just prompt me and I will ask you a few questions myself, because I'm getting some questions from others. Thank you.
All right, cool. By the way, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see Q&A. If you click on that, that'll bring up the questions that people are asking.
Got you now. Thank you.
Great, thanks. All right, so this is a great question, and this is, you know, I've never really answered this question in a profound manner, and I'm going to do it today. And the question is, what makes the CUIR, the Cooperative Universal Income Replacement System, different than MLM? Because as you guys often hear us speak, we say we're not MLM, and we say that because we're not. MLM is a great industry, but just like cars evolved and took over from horse and buggy, the Cooperative Universal Income Replacement has evolved and is taking over from MLM. MLM laid the groundwork, they built the foundation, they showed us what to do, and the CUIR is actually going to show you a better way and a different way. So let me answer. I'm not going to answer it all, because Monday's mastery course, folks, which is Monday at 2 o'clock and 9 o'clock, it's going to give you a much bigger understanding of what the Cooperative Universal Income Replacement System is. And a couple of the things that make us different, and the primary thing that makes us different, is that our primary focus is on creating a predictable, ongoing passive income, creating an income for you. Whereas in network marketing, the primary focus is on providing you with a product or a service and allowing you to make money from that product or service that they're providing. So their main focus is providing you with a great health product, or maybe some financial knowledge or something like that. I at Co-op believes that it is more important for you to get an income to ensure that your monthly expenses are covered, to ensure that you can get out of debt, and to ensure that you can fund your best life. And to do that, we have to make sure that we have a business that's affordable. We have to make sure that we have a business that is easy to understand. And we have to make sure that we have a business that can quickly generate a hugely rewarding income for you. Now, having said that, CoopB has some awesome products and services that we are very, very proud of. But we want you to get to earning an income as quickly as possible. And that's why we have 3 simple doable steps that you only need to do one time. And because you only have to do those 3 simple doable steps one time, it means that you get to focus on your income over product sales. And if you think about MLM is often dependent on continuous product sales and recruitment, which for most people can be challenging and unsustainable for many people. So that's why one of the big differences between us and MLM is that, you know, you may only have to complete the 3 steps one time to create a sustainable income to last you a lifetime. And by completing those 3 steps, which goes back to, you know, what I was saying, you know, we take care of the people that bring benefit, that you benefit from the fruit of the tree. So there's those things are different. It's primarily our focus. Our focus is on generating an income for you. That's our first focus, generating an income for you, and making generating an income as easy as possible so you can get to the point where you're able to live your life in a debt-free, stress-free and financially free manner. It's my belief that other companies are going to start to follow suit and start adopting the Cooperative Universal Income Replacement system because it just makes sense and it helps more people. Foster, this is something that I am going to ask you if there's anything else that I might have missed on, because you have such a tremendous wealth of experience. You might want to elaborate on that a little bit.
Is this on the difference between MLM and
yes.
CoopB?
Yes.
Yeah, you have articulated the difference, but I mean, it would be unfair to the industry if I don't represent the industry, particularly in my case. This is one of the sort of uncomfortable area that I wanted to understand exactly what you meant when you said this is not MLM. But let me put it simply that what I see here that may not be totally different from MLM is with any good organization in MLM, regardless of the product or services, you still need to build teams. And I believe this is what I've been able to build that has sustained me continuously for 25 years with one company, precisely from 1999 to let's say to now. I haven't missed a paycheck from February 18 of 1999. So I know that when you have proper structure and you're able to support the structure, where here I see the 3x10 matrix as the proper structure. And most compensation plans that I've been part of was the uni-level compensation plan. Whether you're building a team of 4 or whatever the number might be, you still need to support these legs. And here at CoopB, this is what must take place. Proper structure all the way to the 10th level. So I have answered and added to this to say that regardless what the difference might be, you still need to have a team focus in order for you to succeed big. Back to you, Dave.
Yeah, great. And thank you very much, Foster. And guys, this is one of the things that I really like about Foster. And A is his passion for the industry, right? There's very few people who have been able to do this industry for 35 years, 24 years with 24 or 25 years with the same company, and be able to use that type of business to create an income for themselves and their family consistently, so that they don't need to get a 9-to-5. So I really appreciate Foster's input into it. And just to be clear, folks, I want to make sure you understand is that I did say that MLM is a great industry, and it provided the foundation and laid the groundwork for what we're now doing in the Cooperative Universal Income Replacement system. But again, the primary difference is that our focus is on first helping you to get to earning a great income so that you can live your life the way that you choose, by not having to wake up trying to figure out whether your monthly expenses are going to get paid, not having to wake up with a burden of debt, and not having to wake up and being able to wake up knowing that that you can live your best life. And another key difference is only having to complete the 3 steps in one time. That was something that was really key to building this system, was giving you the ability to lay your foundation and complete the 3 steps one time, but receive a continuous income without having to qualify month after month after month after month after month. And in some MLM companies, those qualifications are onerous. Some of them dictate that you have to have a certain amount of meetings on a monthly basis to receive your paycheck. Some say that you have to have a certain amount of sales volume to receive certain levels of income. And it puts a lot of stress on a person's life for fear that if they miss that, then they're not going to get the bonuses that they already did the work for. I'm different. Do the work once. Maintain your team, maintain your position, continue to get paid forever. And I think that's the way it should be. And that by doing so, it allows people to live their lives the way that they should be able to live their lives. And because of the fact that we have a subscription, it just makes earning an income and living your life that much better. I noticed you unmuted,
David,
do you want to add to that?
It's a good follow-up question in the chat, so you might want to address it while we're on this topic. Somebody asked the question, what happens if you are not able to get the 3 in within the first 28 days? What happens?
I love that. Yeah. You know what? Thank you for bringing that question up. Here's the thing, is that I believe as an entrepreneur, you go at your own pace, right? And you go at your own pace because this is not a race. Sometimes you hear us on the webinar and it says, go get, register your 3 active cooperative affiliate members within 24 hours, right? And I think it's great because we need motivation, we need inspiration, and we need to follow our leaders, right? So there's a team that's out there that's their mission is to have their teammates each get 3 teammates in 24 hours. On most of the webinars that we have, we talk about doing it in 7 days. On all of the webinars, we do say that if you complete the 3 steps in your first 28 days, then you won't have to do them again. And the reason why we say it, if you complete it in your first 28 days, if you invite 3 friends in your first 28 days, it means that you receive $35. When your subscription becomes due again 29 days, you've got $35 in your wallet. $28 comes out of your wallet, not out of your pocket. So that's why we say that if you do it within 28 days, then you don't have to reach into your pocket anymore. Now, we also know that there are others that, for whatever reasons, maybe they didn't get started right away, maybe they are challenged in their efforts to get the business going, maybe they don't understand it. There's 1,000 reasons why a person may not do it within a 28-day time frame, or a 7-day time frame, or a 1-day time frame. No big deal, right? So let's say that you didn't register anybody in your first 28 days. Does that mean your business is done? Does that mean you're out of business? Does that mean your co-op journey is over? Absolutely not. It just means that you'll have to reach into your pocket for that $28 again. Now, let's say that you invited 2 people. If you invited 2 people, it means that you would have made almost close to $23.50, I think. I might be wrong, but it means that you might have made $23.50. Does that mean your journey is over because you only made $23.50 and you can't continue? No, it just means you need to top up your wallet so that you can renew with that $28. So the time frames that we suggest to you is because we're leaders. We want to see you get to that success in the shortest time possible. We want to let you know that as leaders, we want our team duplicating what we're doing. So if you're the leader of your team suggests that let's do it in 3 days, then listen, all the power to them, because it gives you a goal. You see, if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a finish line, you see a person who runs 100 yards, they run that 100 yards and they know that they start here and they're going to end here. And they can pat themselves on the back for finishing that 100 yards faster than anybody else. A marathoner, they start here and they got 26 miles to run, right? So they have a goal. It takes them farther to get to that goal, but when they reach that goal, they can pat themselves on the back. You see, when we make a suggestion to you to do it in 24 hours, we're giving you a goal. When we suggest that you do it in 3 days or 7 days, we're giving you a goal, right? And we're giving you something to shoot for. And if you do it in those 3 days, you can pat yourself on the back. You can reward yourself by, maybe taking a bag of chocolate chip cookies out of the cupboard and eating that whole bag all at once, which is one of my goals because I love chocolate chip cookies. My daughter can have absolutely nothing of mine except my chocolate chip cookies. So, folks, listen, it's all about creating a goal for yourself. Foster, does that answer the question?
Yeah, David, I'm going to ask you a different question. I am coming from the position of me evaluating this business for the first time. So you have been in business, as you have articulated, you've been in business pretty much all your life. If you were to take my seat and start looking at this opportunity from the outside into your world and evaluating this business, what are some of the check boxes that will be checked by you to say I'm all in?
Yeah, that's another great question, and Foster's asking me these questions right now, and I haven't had a chance to even think about them. And that's a question that I don't think I've ever been asked before, and it's such a powerful question because now what it does is it puts me in the shoes of everybody who's looking at CoopB for the very first time. So I would look at the structure. The first, actually, here's what I do. When people bring businesses to me, the very first thing that I do is I look at the math. And I ask if the math makes sense. If the math makes sense, then I can go on to the next part. But the math has to make sense. And in saying that, to most people, the math doesn't make sense in CoopB, which put me in a dilemma when I was building this system, because the 25% makes sense. You can see exactly where that 25% comes from. The 50% that's in the cooperative, you can see exactly where that 50% comes from. And then you've got 25% in bonuses. And that 25% in bonuses, the same way that the Colonel has his secret recipe and Coca-Cola has its secret sauce, we have a proprietary way of showing the bonuses. So to help people overcome the first thing that I look at in a business, which is the math, that's why I created Co-op Build. Because with Co-op Build, it gives you the opportunity to prove whether or not the math makes sense, right? Because with Co-op Build, you can go in, you can invite your 3 friends. We say that you're going to receive $35.25 by inviting 3 friends. So in Co-op Build, invite your 3 friends. Does the math make sense? Does it add up? The answer is yes, right? And it says if they invite 3 friends, then you're going to receive $47. And if you do that, does the math make sense? So I created Co-op Build so that you don't simply have to take my word for it. You actually can use the system. You can demo it and see if it works. And you can demo it all the way through to actually see whether or not you can receive $972,753. And if you do, you're going to get the exact same results. So giving a person the Co-op Build in the demo system helps people to overcome that lack of belief. The next thing that I look at is, well, how do you get paid, right? Because if you're going to go out and do the work, you want to know that you're going to get paid. So we're a peer-to-peer organization. When you register, you immediately see your royalties on your dashboard instantaneously within a 1/10 of a second. If I invite Foster, within a 1/10 of a second, I can see my royalties on my dashboard, which is great. And if I went out and I got busy with it and I made $100 today in co-op earnings, I want to know that I can take it out so you can actually withdraw it the next day. So the other obstacle that I knew that we had to overcome to give people confidence in what we're doing is to give people access to their money. So we give people access to their money every day. So if you make $100 today, you can withdraw it tomorrow. If you make $100,000 today, you can withdraw it tomorrow. The next thing you look at is you look at the people that are behind it, right? You want to make sure that, that they have some credibility. How long have they been doing it? Is this their first business? Have they been doing it for a decade? Have they been doing it for months? So you want to look at the person. And, I've got a 23-year record of unparalleled successes, uninterrupted successes. The very first business that I created in 2001 is still going on today. So yeah, from a business ownership perspective, I got straight A's. Now, the person part, I don't put as much weight on the person part because, the internet is a interesting place. And on the internet, people can say whatever they want. So I don't put as much weight on the person part. But how long the business has been around? Yeah, you want to know whether, how long the business has been around. Those are the primary criterias. And then of course you want to look at what you need to do, right? If you open up a compensation plan, and that compensation plan says, well, you've got to invite 5 people to qualify to receive your first dollar, well, that should be a red flag, because most people can't invite 5 people. If you open up that compensation plan and it says that you've got to have a volume of A just to get your first dollar, that could be another red flag. And if the compensation plan, if it continues to have, one challenge after another challenge after another challenge after another challenge after another challenge, if you can quickly look at that and you can see that trying to get to the highest pay level is difficult, if not impossible, well, it makes your journey that much more difficult. So you want to make sure that you look at that compensation plan and find out what you have to do to find out if you can actually do it. Because if you can't do it, then it doesn't make any sense to join the business. And the next thing is, understanding what it is that you're marketing. You want to understand what you're marketing. It may not be that important. It's certainly not in the top 3, but you do want to understand that what you're marketing is something that people use. Because here's the thing, is that if all of the other things fit, it's easy to understand your steps to receiving maximum earnings, it's affordable, then those things make for a great business. So if they're selling something that you don't like, but the income opportunity is great, do it. Because we know a lot of people that are selling shoes, and many of them would rather be selling something else, right? We know a lot of people that are working in a job that they hate, but they need an income, so they keep working in that job. So not everybody is doing a job that they love or selling a product that they love, but they want the income that come along with it. So those are the main things, and it's a great question, Foster, and I think I'm going to break it down and put it into a PDF and put it on the site, because it's a great question. I'm sure I've missed a few things. What would you add to that, Foster, or even take away from it?
Well, David, thank you for addressing some of these questions, because let's face it, these questions will come up more than just once. And I believe my approach to business is, if you want to be an eagle, then be an eagle. Eagles don't, run away from storms. They face the storm. Other birds will run the other way. And one of the things that I said to you when I first met you was, you have made some bold claims, and you are going after an industry that has really opened doors to people in so many ways, and that was the MLM industry. So I'll keep hammering that, because to me, that has been my rescue boat. And I'm so grateful to that industry. So some of the questions that I ask, people are asking, because the caliber of people that I'm bringing to this table, they've been prepared by this industry. So if I overstate that, there's a reason, because I believe this industry has produced some giants. And for us to move forward with this amazing opportunity, we need to find a common ground. Let me ask you a follow-up questions, and it may address what is left on the table. So you have
Sure.
touched on a number of things, but I did not hear you mention anything about, let's say, how regulators may see this opportunity. My company that has really put me on the map was a nutritional product, and it was a product that had solid research for over 2 decades before it was launched. Your closing comment was about understanding what you are marketing. So when I got involved marketing a nutritional product that was supporting a particular situation, I knew exactly that I could relate. I wanted to be healthy and all that stuff. I'm not afraid to say on this call, I'm in my 60s and I love health. Now, when you talk about Cooperative Universal Income Replacement, it piqued my interest because I want to give back. I want to give back to people outside my home, where I once belonged, my home country, and all that stuff. But at the same time, you've painted this picture that we are in almost 180 countries. In other words, it's open to the whole world. How do we understand the legalities and how regulators view this, David?
Yeah, that's another great question, Foster. So thank you for that. So, folks, and by the way, Foster, the business that Foster had been doing all those years is one of the best businesses on the planet in providing health. Some of the great, as a matter of fact, some of the best products that you can get for your health come from the home-based business arena. They are great products. They've spent a lot of money in doing studies and doing research and making sure that, you know, they're putting the best products. They're buying the best products, the best ingredients to make their final product. So there's some great health industries out there, and you know, I congratulate them. And some of them have been around for decades, and some for over 100 years. So it's great. The difference, though, is that with a health product, if you want to go to Canada, then you've got to get approved to bring that health product into Canada. If you want to bring that health product into Taiwan, you've got to get approved to bring that health product into Taiwan because it is an ingestible product. And the governments of those countries don't want you bringing something into the country that may impact the citizens of that country in a negative way. So that's why health products need to get regulated to enter each country. We, on the other hand, we don't have those same type of hurdles that we need to overcome. We are marketing digital products. They can't hurt anybody, and they aren't regulated. So we can go into any country, anywhere in the world, and do business. Now, having said that, just because you have digital products does not make you a legitimate company. Like, for example, if you go online, you can see that you can buy the digital rights, copyrights to thousands and thousands of products. And some of them you can get for free. Some of them you can get for, you know, $99, and you get 10,000 different rights to digital products. And if you try and put that into your business and say that, you know, we are a network marketing business because we're selling products, and you try and sell those products that you got for free, and you try and tell people that, you know, you're going to charge them $1,000 a month, well, that's not going to pass because, you know, the regulations also state that you can't take something that has no value and put it into a company and call yourself a network marketing company. Or even take, for example, this iPhone that I've got in my hand. We all know that this iPhone in Canada is going to cost you about $1,500. So if I go and buy iPhones and I start selling these iPhones for $10,000 when you know you can get it for $1,500, and think that I can call it a business, well, you would get shut down because you're not giving real value. The value that we are giving for that co-op NFT, the co-op academy, and the co-op bits, in my personal, humble, unbiased opinion, I say that it's priceless. And in every regulator's eyes from every country in the world, they will acknowledge that we are giving far greater value than $1 a day. So we pass the regulations of every country in the world. Now I'm going to take this a step further and talk about one of my other businesses, and that being crowdfunding, because I also want you to understand that crowdfunding is different, right? Crowdfunding has no products, none whatsoever. When you go to GoFundMe and you donate to somebody's crowdfunding system, you don't get anything in return. So crowdfunding does not have any products, and any legitimate crowdfunding business will never have any products. So there's two differences to the scale there. I think that answers the question, Foster. Have I missed anything?
You have, but I like the fact that you are comfortable addressing some of these questions. So I'm going to say something that may be controversial. So when I came here and I'm asking and getting to understand who you are as a person, some of my friends said, I don't know this guy, I've never met him. How can he be so comfortable saying some of the things he's been saying? I said, well, I think this is probably one of the main reasons why I'm still here checking things out, because if he's recording his messages and posting them on YouTube and all that, it tells me he's confident, he knows something that perhaps I don't know. So I tell people that the longer that I hang around and get to understand what drives you and all this stuff, is getting me to a point where I would say, yes, we'll have questions, and as long as you have answers, I will be happy. Let me ask you two questions, and then I'll go back to the
just before you get to those, if you don't mind, before you get to those two questions, because on one of the webinars that we had earlier this week, which was a great webinar, by the way, you brought up this same point, and what Foster said is that a lot of people that he's inviting to the business are questioning whether or not I in fact created crowdfunding. They are questioning whether or not I in fact created the loyalty card, et cetera, et cetera. And I answered it in a couple of different ways. The first way I answered it, which is how I usually answer it, I said that I didn't really, at the time, for me, it wasn't about recognition. It was about creating something that brought huge value to people all over the world. And it's come to my realization that if I'm going to say these things, that's actually not enough to help people get over the burden of me saying that I created these things. So I actually showed some proof to Foster. So my question right now, Foster, I showed some, you didn't need it, but I showed some proof of the fact that I created these things from historical memorabilia. Do you think I should do that right now?
The answer is yes, because it's not just about me. And, you love technology. I am coming to the technology space. You love technology and you use technology to build your business. And I want you to know that people are relying on technology to check things out. And when people go online and they are not able to have things that will support some of your claims that I was privy to when I saw some stuff when I came to your home. Those things are not online. And I don't think it's unreasonable for people to ask these questions. And fortunately, you've been graceful enough to embrace some of these questions without being evasive, because the world that we live in today, people have been burned so many times. And as long as you don't take this as a personal attack on you and you're able to share what you can share, there's some stuff that, because I live in Toronto, it's helpful to me because I've seen evidence and I've seen stuff in local newspapers that has been dated way back. But not everybody relies on the same newspaper that you place ads and put documents in and all that. So
let me go get.
Yes, yeah, keep doing that, and I will let people know that it's perfectly okay to keep putting your questions in the chat. This is David's platform, so I don't control. Some people wanted to have the opportunity to ask live questions, and I wish I could give you that right, but it's not my place. But I want you to understand that we are on a journey together. If you, this is what I'm going to be pleading with you. If you like the vision, that David is creating, and you want to help improve things, then ask questions that will help this course, because vision is a good thing. But when you put these two letters in front of vision, which is DI, then it changed the vision to division. And I don't believe anybody can get ahead in life with division. So I just want to plead this with you guys. If you have a question that is going to really advance what we are hoping to do, I am just a guest. And I want you to understand, I want the same thing for my family, just like what you want for your family. But let's make sure that we stay on the vision and not bring division. Thank you. Back to you, David.
All right, cool. Now I'm gonna share these things, and I'm gonna share them. They're in no, because I wasn't expecting to do this, so I'm gonna have to do a little digging. But you know, one of the first things that I said that I created was the loyalty card. So, you know, the loyalty card is a big deal. And I don't know if you guys see this here. The wild card was the world's first loyalty card. This is part of a section that I had running in one of our Toronto newspapers. It was the most widely distributed newspaper, I believe, at the time, was the Toronto Sun. And you know, this is from this says June 1991. You know, this was well after I'd already established the card, which was in 1985. And this is another really interesting picture. You see, back in the day, the Toronto Sun had what was called a Sunshine Girl in their newspaper. And this girl wore my WOW shirt. And when I look back at these things, it's really interesting, actually. Brings back so many memories. You know, some of my advertisements from back in the day. This was my store on Queen Street. That was one of the famous wrestlers back in the day. Kind of interesting too, because that wrestler, I can't remember his name, but he was like one of the top wrestlers at the time. I didn't realize it, but my family they are the crown jewels of wrestling. My uncles were part of the Soul Patrol in Maple Leaf Wrestling, and they wrestled all around the world. And now, so my uncle had a son. All of you know who that son is. That's Dwayne Johnson. So that's my first cousin. Now, without getting, you know, taking a whole bunch of time, but so here's a couple of our first flyers. Now, this is pretty cool. I don't know what year this flyer is from, but you know, it was pretty cool. This is a mock-up. No, actually, this was a real one. And then we had our, you know, I've got 3 different books, Your Passport to Savings. This is back in the 80s, folks. Look at this. I think this was the first one that we put together. You know, when I open it up, you see all of these different places, they give savings. And some of these places are really big. You know, Roots is in here, Toronto Sun's in here. You know, this is a big deal, folks. So if you're wondering if I created the world's first loyalty card on this planet, which turned into an industry that created $52 trillion in benefit to people, the answer is yes, I did. and I'm going to put all these things online over the next little while. You know, I'm not going to go through all of these things. Wow, look at this. What do we got? I got to go through these things, man, because this is so cool. Look at this. This is the mock-up for the designing of the Sun newspaper page. Like this, I got to go through this because I just recently found this box. I got to go through this. This is so cool.
Yeah,
and
so
one other thing,
David, I believe these are some of the things that I saw when I came by your house, and I brought the message to my close associates, and I said, wow, okay, I saw stuff that was not shown in a presentation. And I just want to say this to our audience at this point, that this is going to take some time, because some of the things that we talked about this week, of course, one of the things that I pushed for was it's about time to get yourself a PR firm that will be able to go through some of these materials and make sure that the correct message is out there in social media, because it cannot be done by you or anybody who is here as a core member. It just will not fly. The reality is not everybody is we are going to do our part. That is from, within our inner circles with friends and family members to say, yeah, I mean, it is real. But I think because the opportunity is at a global level, it's not everybody who's going to be privileged to what you have shown us. And even if a person is not on this call today or this afternoon or tonight, and they get to watch the replay, I tell people there's nothing like a live presentation. Even if they get to see this later on, it's not going to move them the same way. But I will end by saying this. The fact that you have been out there for the past 23 years and you are still front-facing, I'm proud of you, that I must say. I said to somebody, and I said, if this guy is real, the fact that this program is doable, the fact that it's $1 a day, if this is going to really help to earn poverty, I want to play my part. And that's why I'm here. I just want to be clear that I'm excited about the fact that this vision is in alignment with some of the things that I have not been able to do.
Foster, I'm going to share a couple other things. And these are so cool. As everybody knows, I've already said 1,000 times that the world's first online crowdfunding system was called 5-Star Exchange. I created it, and I started creating it in 2000, released it in 2001. And when I was going back and I was trying to find, internet records, et cetera, I couldn't find any. I didn't own 5starexchange.com because back in those days, the US government was seizing companies that used .com if they didn't like it. So I used 5starexchange.biz, which I still own today, by the way. And I didn't know how I was going to prove it because the records aren't the same as they are today. Today, everything is recorded and kept records of. So I found I don't know how, but I found a whole bunch of uncashed checks. There's a lot of uncashed checks here, by the way. And if you look at this, it says 5-Star Exchange. And if you look at the date, it says 2002. You can't make this stuff up. And if you look at this, again, it says 5-Star Exchange. Again, 2002. Brings back so many memories, man. Oh man, it's just,
David, I'm gonna do something. It's gonna change the temperature in the room because
that, right?
You are in a very tough position, but I love the fact that you are still passionate about this. So let me change the temperature in the room.
Yeah.
I've been to your place and I know that you probably facing the lake, but it's still hot because
It's hot.
It's a huge place. So let me change the temperature a bit. When I wrote my first book, the first chapter was on this why. So I'm big on the why question. So what is inspiring you or motivating you to really put yourself in this position with this core business? Like, what is the inspiration behind this business for David?
Foster, what? I asked you to send me questions. You didn't. Now I know why.
Yeah, I have interviewed more than 100 top leaders.
Yeah,
in the
no,
industry.
this.
I don't send
Listen,
questions
these are great questions, man. I love these questions. You know, folks, ladies and gentlemen, it's my belief that we are all put on this earth with a mission. Most people never discover what that mission is because you have to actually look for it, and it doesn't just appear. You know, you've got to dig for it. It comes through practice. And I firmly believe that my mission is to help other people. And not just simply help other people, but to help other people financially. I believe that is my goal in life. I believed it forever. And I'll share my very first act of giving. I was only 2 years old. And, you know, I'm sitting at the dinner table, and I think everyone's going to be able to relate to this. I'm sitting at the dinner table, and my mom, she had already got up. You know, she's now doing the dishes. And I said, Mom, I want to get up. I want to go play with my toys, right? She said, you need to finish your dinner. But I said, I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I don't like pork chops. She said, you need to finish your dinner, David, because think about all the starving people around the world who would love to have that dinner. So listen, guys, I remember these things. Like, if you try hard enough, you're going to remember things that happened in when you were really young. So I remember I went to the bathroom, and I grabbed a face cloth. We didn't have paper towels at the time. At least we didn't anyways. We didn't. So I grabbed a face cloth, and I wrapped this pork chop up in a face cloth, and I took it to my mom. And I tugged on her apron. My mom looks down, she says, what do you want, David? I said, please give this pork chop to the starving children. I was being serious. My mom, on the other hand, she didn't take it the same way I took it. So that was my first act of giving. And ever since that time, you know, I can remember when I was 15 years old and working a day job. You know, I was going to school, but I looked older than I was at 15. But I remember working a day job. You would show up at this place at 6 o'clock in the morning. You'd be sitting on a bench. There'd be like a whole row of people, all hoping that they would get picked to go and, you know, work for the day and make, because they paid you cash at that time. So if you got chosen to go and work, you know, you got paid cash. You know, you might get $20. You know, have $20, $25 for the you know, at the end of the day. So I remember going to this place, and there was this house that I used to pass by. It was a mansion. It's a big, huge house that I used to pass by all the time. And it was boarded up. I used to think to myself, man, when I have enough money, I'm going to buy that house, and I'm going to turn it into a shelter for people that are sleeping on the street, because I'm walking by this house and I'm thinking there's got to be 20 bedrooms in this house. Why don't they take the boards off of it and let people go in there and sleep? So anyways, it's my mission is to help other people. And that's what I've been doing all my life. It's what the Wow Card did. It's what the Wow Mall did. It gave discounts to people when they shopped. Crowdfunding was my biggest gift to the world until now. CoopB and the Cooperative Universal Income Replacement systems, much bigger than crowdfunding, much bigger than the loyalty card. And I made a promise to myself in 1987 that I would come up with a business that 95% of the population could use to generate an income. I did. CoopB, but I did better because it'll work for 100% of the people that actually use it. So I outdid myself, and I'm pretty proud of it. So great question, Foster.
David, I'm going to ask just one more and I'm done. Definitely, we're getting close to the
I hope it's not going to make me so emotional.
Well, no, I'm thinking about this final question that I'm about to ask, because definitely after 23 years, there must be a reason why we are where we are today. So I didn't mean to get you too emotional, but what makes now the right time to start the core business? Why now? Why is this the time to get this off the ground?
Another great question. What is going on? Well, listen, when you when you think of things, you say, well, why did this happen? Why did that happen? As a giver, when I got sick in 2012 and I was getting ready to launch Pi 247, and Pi 247, folks, in case you see it online, you wonder what happened to it. Well, it turned into co-op business. So Pi 247 is co-op business. The name changed. So when I was getting ready to launch it in 2012, I ended up getting sick. And I was sick until the end of 2018, so I couldn't do it. And, I questioned myself, why? Like, what am I doing wrong, right? And then in 2000 then I launched, I thought I was going to launch it. I went back to work at the end of 2018, started working on it again, was co-op proud. Started working on it again. And then all of a sudden I got distracted with co-op 50/50 because it was something that people needed right then and right now. So I get distracted with co-op 50/50, and then I was getting ready to launch co-op proud over on the other side of the world in the Philippines on April 6th, 2020. I had the backing of government, the major businesses over there. It was going to be a big, grand launch. And then the pandemic hit, so couldn't launch it. So then I came back to Toronto and I'm thinking to myself, come on, man. What do I need to do? Let's get this thing going. Like, I've been talking about this for so long. Like, let's get this going. And all the while I was building, because I started building Co-op Wallet in 2018. Then I got ready to launch it, and we couldn't launch it. So all of these setbacks has brought us to today. And we all know what happened in 2020. The whole world shut down. Everybody was out of work. And, I made a video. It's a 1.5 minute video. It might take me a minute to find it. So after I answer this question, I'll show you guys a video that I did just a few weeks after, actually it was a few days after the pandemic started. I'm going to share it with you guys to show you the type of thinking that I do. And I said that, most jobs that people lost, they won't be there when the pandemic is over. I'm sure people thought that I was crazy. And then in October of 2020, I decided, well, I got some time on my hands. I might as well do something that I've never really done. Is I decided to fully commit to my mission. I mean, like, since 2020, this is where I've been. 6 days a week, working, doing this. Not doing the things that I normally like to do, which is travel the world, party like a rock star, drive my cars fast, do all the things that are way more fun than building businesses. So 2020, I decided to build, and I put a 5-year plan together. And I thought I was ready in 2021. And again, like, boom, you know, I put all this work together. I launched Co-op Crowd. I figure it's great. It's ready. It works. And then I did something wrong and it stopped again. And I'm asking myself, what is going on here? Like, dude, you've been, and I'm speaking to, you know, the universe. And I'm saying, listen, man, like, you keep asking me to do this. I do it. And then you shut me down. So it was really confusing. And then about a year ago, ChatGPT comes out and we got AI. AI eliminates way more jobs, and now the future of your job is in serious doubt. And governments around the world are trying to figure out, how are we going to take care of these 8 billion people around the world if big business can't give them a job anymore? And governments around the world have been talking about a universal income replacement system. That's not going to work. If you're making $2,000 a month and you lose your job and the government only gives you $1,000 a month, how is that going to work? Right? It can't, right? It puts you in a worse situation. And all the while, I've been working on this. Now we're launching it. Now it's time. And now we have CoopB. We've got the co-op ecosystem. It is the Cooperative Universal Income Replacement. We got our incoming payments. We got our outgoing payments. We have a complete business that works for 100% of the people. So when I look back right now and I think about, well, why didn't it work then? Why wasn't I allowed to launch it then? Why wasn't I allowed to launch it then? Well, they were waiting until it's time. This is a big system. It is a system that is needed by the vast majority of the people on this planet. It's time. Here we are. So that's that story, Foster. I might have went all over the map. I don't even know, but here we are, man.
It's all good. If you want to look for that video, we're still going
to. Yeah, sure. Why don't you speak for a moment?
But I appreciate you taking the time to give us the reason right now is the perfect time, and we appreciate everything that you've put together. It's a work in progress. There's nothing perfect yet on this planet, and I think as long as most of us live on this planet, who knows, we may not have anything perfect, but at least we're getting close. Let's see what David has to share with us.
It's gonna take me look at that, and look at that. It's when I typed it in, it was like the first thing that came up.
Okay, good.
That's amazing. Wow. So let me get it to the right size. So let me go to it.
Why David is doing this, I understand this type of Q&A happens once a month. So again, know that we're going to be back here again next month. So even if you have questions that are not addressed today, David will do everything he can to continue addressing some of these questions during the week, but at least once a month we'll come back.
All right, I found it. So let me share this. And folks, listen. Let me see if this video that you're going to see, I did in March of 2020, just literally days after the entire world was shut down. So let me share this with you. You can see my screen, Foster? Okay.
Yes.
What is happening to your job right now? I predicted in my videos as far back as 2006, because this is the new reality for many of you. It is your new future, and your income will never again be defined by where you live, what degree you have, or who your daddy is. Many of you will not have a job to go back to once this virus is contained. Your future will now be defined by your willingness to step outside of the box, your willingness to adapt, and who you are willing to cooperate with. Right now, you are witnessing the uncovering of what I call the cooperative age. And, believe it or not, the end result is a good outcome for everybody. The government, big business, and of course you. So embrace the cooperative age, because many of you will not have that traditional job to go back to. So fear not. This is David T. Rosen. It is now time to think different. So that's a video I put out in a month, a week after the pandemic hit. Folks, it's time to think different. Great questions, Foster. You listen, man, you are full of surprises. And by the way, folks, listen, I asked Foster twice, not once, twice. I said, Foster, send me the questions you want to ask me so I can prepare for them. And Foster usually responds to my messages. Nothing. Crickets, silence, nothing. He responded a couple other things, not an answer to that. Now I know why. Great job, Foster. Thanks for bringing out the truth.
We appreciate you. You take care, David. Let me go and work on some other things, and we'll see the rest of the world later. Stay blessed.
Yeah, thank you. All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen. I said that we were going to do this webinar until 12:30. It is now 12:30. I can see that there's other questions in here. I'm going to do something. I'm going to make a promise to you right now. And that promise is that we're going to do another Q&A during the week, because you have a lot of questions there I want to answer. And I also had some other questions that I wanted to answer as well. So we are going to do another Q&A during the week. For now, I don't want to take up any more of your Saturday. This has been an unbelievably moving webinar for me. I hope that all of you have got a deeper insight into, what we're doing, why we're doing it. And I hope you understand that now is the right time. Now is the right time. So watch for your the emails, watch for your WhatsApp if you're part of my groups. I will be sending out messages to everybody, letting everybody know when the next Q&A session is. I will make note of all of the questions that have been asked here and make sure that we get them answered. So with that being said, for Foster, thank you once again. He had to jump off because he has another meeting as well. For Mary, who has done the translations in Spanish, thank you very much. And for all of you, thank you for joining us on this Q&A today. And let me leave you with this. If you haven't completed the 3 simple doable steps yet, which are register for $28, help 3 or more become active CoopB members, teach duplication. If you're thinking about register right now for $28. If you've already registered and you haven't completed step 2, invite your 3 friends, your 3 family members, your 3 people that are closest to you. Do that today, do it now. Make today day 1, not one day. And if you've already completed step 1 and you've already completed step 2, complete step 3. And if you've already completed step 1, step 2, and step 3, congratulations. You've done everything that this cooperative business has asked of you. If you want to do more, we've got a 3-minute-a-day plan. It'll help more people, it'll help you, and it'll get us closer to our goal of ending global poverty by the end of this decade. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel blessed. Have a good day. I look forward to seeing you on